Hello, everybody. We're going to give it a few minutes just to let people trickle in. The meetings, this is when we do dad jokes. So, no?
Dog dad jokes.
Dog dad?
Yes.
Nice. Oh, when does a joke become a dad joke? Wait, I missed it. I think it's the groaning, Hugh. Like how much you groan. It makes it a dad joke.
Oh, I get it. When does a joke become a dad joke? When the punchline becomes apparent.
Aha! I didn't even get
boy.
that.
That's a good
Oh
one.
boy. Oh boy.
Oh no. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it. Oh, here's another one. Throwing stuff. I don't know if that's a joke. Who has soft drinks? Nice one, James. All right, I'm gonna kick it off. It's time to be important and serious. Hi, everybody. Cassie Jordan. I am the AI business process specialist for the state of Texas. So I am also, I don't know about some of the agencies, but there's this other duties as assigned. So my other duty is running Top of Mind Tuesday. So I had the fortunate ability to engage on OnActuate for this Top of Mind Tuesday. So I will hand it over to Greg.
Very good. Thank you very much, Cassie, and good day, good afternoon to everyone attending. We really appreciate y'all's time with us in the next 30, 40, 45, 50 minutes. We are here today to talk about meeting public sector ERP needs with Microsoft's AI-driven business applications. I know that's a little bit of a mouthful, but we're going to make it interesting, easy to understand, and hopefully informative as we talk a little bit about ERP, AI, and business applications and how they all work together. Just as a couple of quick intros, my name is Greg. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Public Sector at OnActuate. Home in beautiful Colorado Springs, where it's up in the mid 60s. Sorry about that, folks on the East Coast, but we've been having the warmest winter ever. I've got two of my wonderful colleagues with us. First of all, Terry Michaels, who is one of Microsoft's product experts on both the ERP side and the AI side. She's been in public service with Microsoft for many years. And my colleague, Chris, he works with me at OnActuate. He's our lead on the Power Platform CRM side of the Microsoft Business Application Stack, but he has a wide variety of experiences working in provincial government up in Ontario before coming to work with us. So we're gonna talk you through what we think is a great strategy for government entities to look at in terms of both ERP and business applications from the Microsoft perspective. Just as a starting point, probably no surprise to any of y'all struggling with business challenges related to older systems, but we still in 2026 see lots of organizations struggling with doing their jobs efficiently. And that is the old culprits of manual processes, disparate data sources causing problems with reporting, limited visibility either in terms of data sources or timeliness of data, and having different systems all over the place that don't necessarily work together. So that's still a common theme in local government these days, which is having these issues causing downstream effects of getting better results out of your business. What we want to talk about today is how Microsoft's AI-driven business applications are a great choice for helping public sector organizations to drive that shared visibility, achieve consistent controls, improve reporting, and have improved technology alignment without the usual suspects of difficult ERP implementations, project overruns, challenges, and all of those things that have been sort of the bad part of ERP for the last 20 years. What we want to talk about today is what is modern ERP from Microsoft's perspective and how that can benefit public sector organizations, where Microsoft Dynamics 365 drives that better results through standardization and better reporting. We'll talk also about how the Microsoft Power Platform, that's Power Apps and Power Automate, fills gaps in terms of process and process automation, and also how the overall Microsoft strategy can fit in with an organization's tech stack and your technology strategy. Finally, we'll talk a little bit about thoughts for prioritization for organizations interested in modernizing their operations and take some of y'all's questions. Just as again, as a starting point, it's the age-old challenge of limitations through systems. So that can be some combination of old systems that don't meet your functional and or technical requirements, struggling with limited resources and having increased demand on your resources. We find organizations still struggling to hold on to people, to have enough people, the right people, the right skills. All those challenges are apparent in the marketplace today for government organizations trying to retain technical talent. And then also getting through your audits, working with fragmented data, on really all of those things work downstream to cause problems on your day-to-day operations. That can be using emails to augment limitations in systems from an approval perspective, from a workflow perspective, having a lot of effort patching together reports across multiple systems, and hoping that the numbers work, and spending a lot of time to get those numbers to where they need to be. What a lot is often two different routes that our organizations that we serve are considering. We see still in this day and age a lot of ERP modernizations. We're still seeing systems going back to the 1990s that are still hanging out that need replacement. So having an ERP modernization strategy is still very timely in 2026, but also we have a lot of organizations that have made an investment either with a large system or a recent investment that's not quite right for replacement at this time, but still has needs that can be filled from the Microsoft stack of business applications. So we're going to talk a little bit about both of these scenarios, how either of these questions can be answered by Microsoft in a taxpayer-friendly, achievable manner, and we're going to give you some examples of those areas. So, as a starting point, what is modern ERP from the perspective of Microsoft? It's a system that is top of the market in terms of IT security. We see cybersecurity being a very, very big problem in the smaller organizations, thanks to our friends overseas who like doing hacking, like doing those cyber hostage events where the systems get broken. We actually had one of our large customers completely rebuilding their local network because they were hacked and they lost months of productivity because of that. So having a key business system that offers that top of the line security, which Microsoft does deliver, is something super important. Visibility without control, we think that's important too, because we do work with a lot of organizations that have a wide variety of different business needs based on either departments or different agencies rolling up into a large parent organization. And so having that ability to offer different functionality for different sets of users while still having the overall visibility on your data is super important. Real-time reporting, that's key. People want data up to the minute, up to the second, and having a modern cloud system that's delivered across a high-performing cloud environment such as Microsoft Azure is a key part of that. Workflows and controls, that's kind of base table stakes for modern systems, but super important to make sure that those are there. And then also the good old-fashioned audit trails to keep your third-party audit firms happy, and also to make sure that you are meeting all of your segregation of duties and internal controls. So these are all really basic table stakes, but what I would say, me personally, has seen being in the ERP space for almost 20 years is that just the bar is higher today than it has been even 5-10 years ago. So the demands for security, the demands for functionality, the demands for reporting are very high from savvy shoppers who have very important needs and are not really willing to take half measures as they look at new systems. Couple of things to think about as we're talking ERP solutions. So just to introduce the Microsoft perspective, Microsoft does offer Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain Management. We'll shorten that to D365. That is Microsoft's flagship business application that addresses both ERP and CRM requirements. We'll focus a little bit on the ERP side today. Very, very flexible system. You can use it to manage all kinds of different businesses, if it's either roll-ups or departments or different funds. If you have multiple legal entities put together, if you have the airport as a separate entity as part of the county government or something like that, all easily achievable within Dynamics. And then also that real-time data, Power BI embedded throughout, on top of the standard table stakes of workflow and compliance. Not mentioned here, but super important also is Microsoft's strategy for artificial intelligence, AI. There is built-in AI across the board in these applications, which you as the customer can turn on or off as appropriate based on your appetite and policy. So we're starting to already see ways in which Microsoft's very, very capable AI engine can start improving base functionalities. So we'll talk a little bit about that later today. Some other things worth mentioning just in terms of what Microsoft Dynamics does. There's a lot of automation, a lot of self-service, role-based access. So you can have 10 different types of users, have 10 different completely different experiences interacting with the system. Really all these things can drive a more efficient and more powerful user experience for your end users. As I alluded to just a second ago, what is AI in an ERP system today from a Microsoft perspective? I think the first thing that's really important to mention is just that Microsoft, with its Copilot capabilities, is very sensitive to data privacy and data security. So that data that you have in your ERP system does not float out into the internet to be combined into large models or have other systems looking at your data. You still maintain full control and full privacy of everything you have. With that, you'll start seeing lots of natural language queries through Copilot. So if you're a new user and you have no idea how to look for a purchase order, you can type into the system, show me a purchase order, and the system will start walking you to where you need to be. So just starting to get away from the old hard coding, the old clicking and hunting and pecking in the right menu screens to find the right module and the right functionality. All that's still there, but what we're starting to see is Microsoft bringing more plain English language queries to get things done. Anomaly detection. That's really interesting because Microsoft as a cloud solution does all kinds of anomaly detection on the back end. So from that kind of technology underpinning part, Microsoft is constantly looking for faults, for cyber incidents, hacking, or different things that are outside the normal way of cloud systems behaving to keep your system safe and functioning. That's been going on for a long time, but within your application, Microsoft is also looking for unusual patterns that could be in your banking transactions or just in your general ledger, things that seem a little suspicious or a little outside the norm, and that'll get flagged for attention for someone to look at and decide if there is something going on behind the scenes there or not. A lot of predictions, a lot of go forward analytics of what your data is doing. We see that in cash flow. We've also seen that in vendor performance. So if you're starting to look at how vendors are delivering on time, or vendors are, missing deliveries or delivering the wrong parts or things of that sort, the system will also look and tell you that vendor X may be high risk. So what you're starting to see there is Microsoft looking into the future based on the data that you're transacting with, and giving you suggested future outcomes. And then finally, invoice matching. That's a really interesting advancement. Back in the older ERP days in the early 2000s, to do invoice matching was achievable at great cost and great expense. Big giant scanners and really expensive software add-ons, and now it's just sort of baked in. So that's something that Microsoft uses to look at an invoice, parse certain data fields. It could be the invoice number, the dollar amount, the date, trying to find different pieces of that invoice and match it to the invoices that you have in your system to reduce that manual entry. So lots of AI advancements just innate to the application that Microsoft is delivering today for their customers. So we talked a lot about good old-fashioned ERP, which we love, what Microsoft Dynamics can do from a financial system perspective, but we also wanted to take a little bit further step beyond that and think about what are the other scenarios that could happen outside of the normal functioning of Dynamics, or even issues that customers may see in a system that is not Microsoft. There's obviously lots of ERP applications out there, and not all of them are perfect. So what my colleague Chris wants to talk about for a few minutes is how the other Microsoft applications can be of use for those organizations that have other applications besides Microsoft Dynamics for their ERP system. So Chris, take it away.
Thank you. If you want to jump to the next slide, Greg. So even with the ERP, there's many scenarios where you're going to want to tailor your experience. So modifying workflows beyond the application's capabilities, moving away from printed reports or collecting data in Excel, or you want to do business processes that really don't fit the out-of-the-box process. So this is where Microsoft has Power Platform. Microsoft provides a suite of low-code, no-code business tools that help organizations turn data into insights, streamline and automate everyday work, and quickly tailor apps, websites, and AI-powered assistants for both employees and customers. With the low-code, no-code approach, improvements can be delivered faster than traditional software projects. It's really designed to work with the systems and business applications that you already rely on, enabling your team to both modernize business processes and scale digital initiatives with the right guardrails for administration, security, and governance. So if you can go to the next slide, Greg, we're going to talk about a couple of different examples. So we're going to walk through a custom workflow with our ERP system, and then a couple of different Power Apps that we're using. So I am going to switch over to So what we're looking at here is a very, very simple workflow, but this is outside of the Dynamics 365 for finance and supply chain system. So what's happening in Power Automate, one of the Power Platform applications, I have a connector into the ERP system that is waiting for a business event to occur. So a business event is an out-of-the-box capability that for a set transaction, when there is an event on it, in this case, it's going to be when it's created, it's going to provide the transaction data, in this case, a JSON, available to be picked up. So my workflow is going to pick that up. I'm going to parse through it, and I'm going to send an email. This is a very boring example, very similar to if anyone's done programming languages in the back, the hello world, getting a computer to print out hello world to the screen or on a piece of paper. But it's how simple that you can actually take a process out of the system, and there's no limit to the capabilities at that point. So what I'm doing in this situation, we're going to be creating a maintenance request. So this is in the fixed asset module within the finance and supply chain system. I've already populated it to save some time, but I'm just going to create a maintenance request. So I've just submitted the maintenance request. I'm going to jump back to actually Power Automate now, and it's going to refresh my flows. And because it's a demo, it's going to be taking a second as always. So it did run at the bottom. It ran for 1 second. Now what's happening at the same time, I'm just going to grab my email, and there's nothing real exciting in there, but I just got an email saying, hey, a maintenance request has been created. It lists, in this case, the asset, which was a fire rescue vehicle. It's just for a regular maintenance interval, and it's where it's located. Again, I'm grabbing this information from that JSON file that's being provided because that transaction was created. This is an easy way of opening up a workflow into outside of the system. It could be using employees or people that are not inside your application from an approval perspective, or you can take it as far as you want, but you're no longer limited to the application. In this situation, again, very, very basic, but this took about a minute to create. Very, very simple. And once you have it here, you can continue working from it. So this is one example. And again, this is just, again, showing how you can have workflows or flows occur outside of any system at that point, to be honest with you. I'm now going to turn it over to a Power App, and I'm actually sharing this from my phone. So what we're looking at here is this is a time entry Power App. This one is actually created by Microsoft. So this is not one that OnActuate's built, but it's a good example of, it's not an overly complex application, and it is something that can be created by anyone with the knowledge. But this is showing, in this case, I've been assigned to 2 different projects. In those projects, what tasks I actually have, project tasks that I can record time to. I can see time I've already entered. So yesterday I entered a half hour. I can go back into previous weeks and see time that I've submitted in past weeks. And I can actually enter and submit my time. So I'm going to say for today, started at 3:30. Let's say it was 2.5 hours. I'm going to select a project and a task. In this case, my role as project manager. Again, it can be used for more than just project time. This can be used for project-based time, overtime, or leave situation. So absence or vacation. And again, if I subcontract, but again, now there's two different descriptions. There's an internal description and external description. So what's going to happen is this is actually going to send the data back to Dynamics 365. So it's going to, through Power Apps into Dataverse, and then being sent to Dynamics 365 where it can be used. So I'm submitting it. And 2 things happen as soon as it actually transacts. The dashboards, so if I look at my week, I'll start seeing more information show here and what's available, but I'll also see so it's showing me that I have logged 2.5 hours. The actual dashboard has not yet updated, but this will show basically the time from yesterday and the time for today will be recorded as well. And the data is now available back in the Dynamics 365. This is multiple screens or multiple forms within an app, but it is a fairly simple app. But I'm going to go from here and I'm going to go back to my screen. I'm going to show a different Power App this time, but this is now getting more complex. So in this situation, this is an app that OnActuate built, and this was for asset management for a sheriff's department. But this is the back end application, so more from the administration perspective. So again, we do have a dashboard visible. You can manage or administer employees, any of the trainings that are available, assets, or even cases. And again, for cases in this situation is really cases on the assets or about the hardware. So this is multiple apps tied together. In this case, I'm just going to come down.
Are you sharing your screen yet? We are not seeing your screen.
Perfect.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. To jump back a bit. So again, this is the home screen or the dashboard, just showing some information on the assets that are available. And as I was saying, on the left-hand side, you're going to see different modules. So again, we built an app for employees, trainings that are available. And again, it actually will have a calendar that you can apply training to. People can book against it, assets, or case management. And this is really tied to those assets. The look and feel of this is a model-driven app, and this is very much like a customer engagement app currently will be. What I want to do, though, is I'm going to go up to employees. I'm going to click on myself and click on assets. And you're going to see that I actually have assigned 2 assets to me. One has been assigned and accepted. The other is sitting and waiting. The reason I wanted to go here is, again, I'm going to go back to my phone. And so now I'm actually going to go to a different app we have available, but this is the employee side of it. So this is the exact same database, the exact same application, but this is what the actual employee would have access to. And again, I can look at any trainings that I've been approved for, signed up for. I can request additional trainings. In particular, I'm going to go look at assets, and there's one that has been assigned to me. And if I go to pending, there's another asset I have here that I can click on, and I can actually receive it. So again, read through the yes, I approve the terms and conditions. And I've now successfully acknowledged the receipt of the taser. So this is a situation where we have a mobile app that is connecting to Dataverse. We have a larger administration app that is being used to look after the back end of it, but we've combined a system of multiple applications that are used both internally and by the end users. All of this is within Power Platform. So Greg, if I can get you to jump to the next slide, share. So again, we looked at a Power Automate application. The next one was the time entry, which again was a Canvas app, but again, a mobile application. And the last we looked at was a more complex, multiple applications tied in, but this was the mobile application. We also saw the back end side. So if you can go to the next slide. So this is great. And the reason some of those apps were critical is on Power Automate, we extended workflows out of the ERP. On the timesheet entry, that data is being written back to the Dynamics 365 system. And in the last one, the asset management, it can work as a standalone, or it can sync the data back to an ERP system or a business application. So this is great if we're talking you're replacing your enterprise ERP system today, but what if you're not replacing it? And that's okay, because in that last example, we saw a standalone application, or it can be right to any other business application that's doing asset management. This is a situation where Microsoft's Power Platform suite can still work for you. So Greg, if you can go to the next slide, please. So there's multiple applications within that suite, all that will have an important part to it. So for Power Apps, this is a tool to quickly create business apps that are tailored to how you work. So really it's, working in the margins or outside of your actual systems, building forms, approvals, field capture systems, lightweight operational apps that connect to business data and can help you replace spreadsheets, emails, paper-based processes. Power Automate is really what we use for that workflow. So this is process orchestration. It can be for robotic process automation, or it can be for automating workflows. So this is to automate repetitive tasks and build end-to-end business processes across common apps and services. It can be include notifications. Sorry, hearing myself on my phone, so let me just get that shut down. Sorry, but the workflows can include notifications, approvals, routing, reminders, multi-step process coordination, escalations. Again, it's a very powerful tool that there really isn't any limit to. For Power BI, you're probably all familiar with it today, but this provides, this is Microsoft's business analytics platform, which will help you turn your data into actionable insights through reports and dashboards. And finally, Dataverse. So Dataverse is really, it's a secure cloud-based database meant for business applications. And with Power Platform, this is where that information is stored and managed in tables, but it's so that multiple solutions can share that consistent view of data. So no matter what application you're connecting it to, Dataverse is that integration database where that will be syncing the data to and from. So the result here is that, Microsoft's Power Platform really can help you with your AI and automation processes, regardless what your application is. And it's not even ERPs, it can be any applications. Now, part of it is, I really haven't touched on AI, and there's other parts to the Power Platform component as well. And so the first of it is Copilot Studio, which is a low-code, no-code tool for building AI agents that can interact with people, answer questions, take actions, often by connecting to other data and systems. So again, you can create conversational experiences for employees, for customer support, for guidance, for FAQs, task completions. There's no limit, but it's a low-code, no-code tool. The other part is AI Builder. And this is a Power Platform capability, but this lets you create and use AI models to optimize business processes. The best example is going to be a document management, document processing system like an invoice capture, where it takes an image of an invoice, extracts the relevant data, and enters that data into the system you're using. So Greg, if you can go to the next slide. So the key here is it doesn't matter what system you're using. Power Platform can still connect and help you become more efficient, whether it be through automation, whether it be through AI, whether it be through building external processes that work with your system. Dataverse and Power Automate have over 1,400 connectors into external systems today. And if the connector does not exist for your system, as long as there is an API available, we can connect to it. So the key is really any system that has the ability of integrating with can be used to connect with Power Platform and extend your capabilities. So like I said, Dataverse is really the cloud-based database that you're going to use from an integration perspective for sharing data. Power BI dashboards are really making that data valuable and like a currency and really starting to report and act on that data. Power Automate is the ability to, whether it be a workflow, whether it be process automation, but automating repetitive tasks. And finally, Copilot gives you the ability of surfacing insights across all of your systems. As long as the data is available, Copilot can be used to give you additional insights. So if you can go to the next slide, Greg. So you don't need a new ERP to use AI. We've already talked about Copilot Studio. And again, this is a low-code, no-code tool that's available in Power Platform. AI Builder, as I mentioned, this is really, it's adding intelligence or using models. It could be a custom model, it could be an out-of-the-box model or a pre-built model. But the best example is going to be document capture. And, I said an invoice capture, it could also be expense capture, taking a picture of a receipt, having the receipt be scanned, parsing the data and entering that data into your system or into a database. The last, though, is Azure OpenAI. This is really Microsoft's big brother to Copilot Studio. So where Copilot Studio is a low-code, no-code platform, Azure OpenAI is the Azure developer building block. So you're using APIs to embed AI into systems that you already control. So to give you an example of how you put it all together, so Power Apps is used for a contract management experience. Power Automate would run in the background, running approvals and alerts. AI Builder would be extracting key details from documents, and Power BI is providing you the insights and the dashboards for it. All of these are anchored by Dataverse as the shared data layer. Greg, next slide, and I believe it's back to you.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Chris. That was super, being able to see real software in the wild. So just a couple of things to think about for organizations that are trying to get better results from your systems. We see the business really focused on those result-based metrics such as numbers, be it having better audit capability, better visibility on data, being able to close your books quicker. That's something that we hear is a pretty big issue with folks still struggling with older systems. But I think from an IT perspective, being able to have a system that meets your need, have that flexibility of developing unique requirements while not having a very difficult, expensive to maintain overhead from a technology standpoint, that's super important too. So I think this is really intended to help y'all think about what is it that your organization might be interested from an improvement standpoint, and then focus further conversations on meeting those needs. Like we said earlier, a lot to consider. We kind of covered a lot of ground in 40 minutes. Microsoft is a fantastic choice for an ERP application, particularly for those organizations that view Microsoft as a strategic partner. Lots of interplay, lots of overlap between the ERP solutions and other things that we've talked about today, from a technology stack, reporting, Power BI, Office integration, all that stuff. So if you're an organization that likes Microsoft, likes what Microsoft brings to the table from a technology and solution standpoint, then the Dynamics application is something that we would suggest is very appealing to your organization. If you're not out there for a system replacement, but you do have needs, you do have interest in making improvements, that portfolio that Chris walked you through is really outstanding for those organizations that want a top tier application stack, but have it delivered by a highly trusted, highly secure set of solutions, and that's what Microsoft is. So from a quick win perspective, being able to put out to the universe small applications, small automations, that's something that Microsoft is really keen on, getting those quick wins out there, and also having the bigger picture in terms of integration to reporting and workflow. Lots of room to run in that area too. So different routes of conversation that we can take. I wanted to just leave one kind of vision, one kind of on one slide, what we've talked about today. We talked a lot about business applications. We kind of did a freewheeling right around the block or two for a couple of things. That horizontal line Chris talked a lot about, the Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, all that stack. That's super relevant to many organizations. We talked somewhat about D365 there up in the left corner. That's Microsoft's ERP application. We have not talked about, but just mentioning in one or two sentences, Dayforce. That's Microsoft's strategic partner for a single application HR payroll timekeeping solution. We would argue it's the best in the market. Really outstanding functionality and works very tightly with the Microsoft ecosystem. So organizations investing in HR capabilities like to look at Dayforce from a tech stack and a functionality perspective. And then wrapping all that together in that kind of orange box is the high capabilities of Microsoft from a cloud standpoint, O365, Copilot being intertwined with everything else, and then security and trust running parallel to everything. So that's our vision, how these different pieces can work together, work independently, work as an overall solution to meet public sector needs from a business application perspective. We're having a lot of fun in all these areas, staying really busy, helping customers solve unique problems. So we'd love to help you or talk further with you if that's an area of interest. But what I wanted to do now is leave a little bit of time. I know there was one chat question earlier, so if any of y'all want to ask questions and are not shy going off mute, now's a great time. You can leave us a question in the chat. And then we'll, once we cover that, we'll give you a preview of what the next episode is in the series. So any questions from the audience? And I'm staring at the clock until 57 minutes. I figure if you don't have questions now, that's okay too. But what I wanted to do now is thank you for your time. I really appreciated y'all spending almost an hour with us on a busy Tuesday. I even have to look at my clock, remembering what day of the week it is. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like this year is like we're the 13th month into 2026. So I know time is precious, and we really appreciate the time you spent with us. I wanted to turn it over to Cassie and Terry to give a preview about the next episode, but I do have my email on here. If you want to send a message in the chat and you specifically want to have us get in touch with you, that's fine too, but reach out to me, find me on LinkedIn. Any of us on the meeting, we all have a web presence. But Cassie and Terry, do you want to have a preview of the next episode?
So I was just going to say real quick, prior to doing that, there will be follow-up. So there'll be a site where I'll post this recording and this PowerPoint deck. And so you'll hear from me. So you'll have access to that information. And Terry, did you have something?
I think one of our upcoming sessions is regarding replacing Project Online. If any of you are using that, or you may or may not know, Project Online is going to be end of life September 30th of this year. And we do have alternatives for that. So again, that's probably that's in April, right? I think that's the one scheduled for April.
That's
So
right.
so if you'd like to have some discussions before that, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Greg or Cassie, and we'll get everything aligned and get a meeting set up and give you some alternatives.
And this is just a quick view on the board of what Terry just mentioned, just some thoughts about next steps for that project online sunsetting. So that will be something we will talk in a little bit more detail next episode. That project operations piece, we did give you a little bit of a sneak preview on that from that time entry application that did feed back into project operations. So that's where Chris made that mention that what you saw was not completely built from scratch. It was a Microsoft built app, and that's where that came from. So we do see a lot of organizations trying to figure out, both from a project accounting perspective, from a funding standpoint, but also just from a resource management standpoint, getting better understanding of that is of interest in the marketplace. So we'll talk a little bit further on that subject tomorrow. It won't be tomorrow, but it'll seem like tomorrow. So we'll leave this, and I'll leave this all. This is some background, and it'll be in the slide deck that Cassie leaves up on the site. Thank you for reminding me of that, Cassie. I blew past the fact that we'll have a repository for this. Any other questions, comments, anything else that we haven't covered? I know we're almost at 2 o'clock in the Mountain Time Zone, so 3 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, and pick your other time zone otherwise. But we're at 47 past. We want to be respectful of y'all's time. Anything else that we can answer today? Otherwise, I hope this was a great use of your time. We love sharing lots of topics to folks that take time with us on the web. So we really appreciate that from y'all's time investment standpoint. But anything else that we can answer today?
You explained it all, Greg.
Wow.
Explained it all.
More to come. Thank you all very much. I hope you all have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the snow for those who are getting it, but thank you all again, and hope to see you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.